Welcome to Being Curious podcast show with Counseling Reflections, a podcast where we dive deep into the human experience, uncovering stories of resilience and triumph. We are proudly supported by Moskin, a UK-based skincare line infused with sea moss.
Good morning, and thank you for being curious with Counseling Reflection. This morning, I'm speaking to Damia and Marlon about their work, their business. So this is new for us because we normally just have individuals, but this time we've got a partnership, a team. And I'm really curious as to see how they work and how they got together and how they started their business. So good morning. Can you give us an introduction and tell us a bit about yourselves?
Ladies first.
Hi, I'm Damia Miki. I am 24 years old.
24?
24.
Oh,
I've got two kids, two lovely kids. I've got a boy who's 5 and a girl who's 10.
wow.
I've been with Marlon now for 13 years. We've been married coming 3 years. We have a small but very successful Caribbean restaurant that we run together.
So I'm going to be really nosy and get right in there. How did you both meet? And then what made you both decide to work together?
When I came to England in 2007. After 2 years of being in England, I was going to college in West Bromwich, and just figuring out the place, meeting new people and so forth. And I went for lunch at a pizza shop in the town, and I overheard two girls talking, and I could hear the raw Jamaican accent. I turned around and looked, and I saw Dania and one of her friends talking, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." And I was talking to them, and they had a good laugh. I could describe exactly what she was wearing and everything on the day, but she looked lovely. And I said, "She's nice," but I was seeing somebody at the time, so I started talking with them. I turned back around and continued doing what I was doing. Whole and behold, a few years later, she came to my place of work. And so when she came to my place of work, and we didn't exchange words immediately, but we started talking, and we just picked off. And I knew then, I was upset because at the time I was single, and I was like, "This is an amazing woman." You know what I mean? Just from that, and I knew then that I couldn't let her pass. I had to find a way to make sure that I get her on my side, and she's never left it so far.
Dania, I'm wondering, what did you think when you met Marlon?
Kind of same. I think for me it was like we're both from the Caribbean, so it was. I think that's what kind of connected me to him. He just came up from Jamaica. Like Jamaica, I was born in Jamaica, but I came over here at a very young age. So Jamaica was still a dear place for me. So we kind of connected on that, and the same way he would describe it is the same way I would describe it. It was a very good friendship that over time became more. Yeah.
Because you both decided to work together. So was this the first venture of getting together, or have you done other things before you got to this your business?
Yeah, this was the first venture. So we both did 10 years in mental health, and now while we were studying business, I studied business and finance. Studied social science, and while we were after studying, we've already bought our house, and was thinking, okay,
had a child.
I was thinking, okay, what next? But then the quality of life that we were living wasn't the greatest in terms of work-life balance. So we decided to work every day now. So that was a bit like, okay, how can we change that? But like, can we bring to the marketplace? What? And I was like, I want to do something. So at the time I was working in insurance in Birmingham City Centre, and the daily commute was getting to me. Like I didn't feel like I was in control of what I want to do with my time, and what I was getting paid at the end of the month was okay, but still like just didn't feel fulfilling. And the opportunities were there, but then nothing was like telling me, oh, you know what, this is going to be your life for the next however long. And I was like, no, I want to do something. And I went into myself and thinking to myself, okay, what can I do? What can I, you know what I mean? And then it was like, well, you can cook. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be a cook. Like, you know what I mean? I would own a restaurant though, because we love our Caribbean roots. We love that aspect of it. And when I came over here, the quality of Caribbean food compared to what I'm used to, because I came at 18, 19. So, and the customer service aspect of it was like, you know what, could I do better? So yeah, we decided to go look in an area for our different businesses. And when we found this one, it was like almost like it was written for us, because it was just about right in terms of the size of it. It was the cost of setting up wasn't as bad as we thought it would be, and yet we didn't. To be fair, the plan was for me to cook for the first year, and then get somebody else after, and then I've been cooking for the last 7.
So Dania, what was it that you saw in Marlon that you thought actually for us as a family we could do catering? Because there are loads of businesses out there, people who say that they can cook and then, and it doesn't work. So what did you see, or what did you feel?
So one of the things that also caught me about Marlon, my attraction to him, was the fact that he can cook. He can cook. Yeah, he's a very good cook. He knows flavors. He knows how to put things together that you wouldn't think would go good together. So in that aspect, yeah, he's very good with his culinary skills. But also he's very ambitious. He's very persistent. If he said he wants to do something, he'll get it done. He'll try his best. He doesn't give up. And when he said that, because like I said, he was in mental health just like me. I stayed in mental health. He kind of moved around to different ventures to try and figure out himself what he wanted to do. I could see that he couldn't find it. It kind of at that point, you could feel it within our household. Like you could feel that there was something there. So I said to him, okay, let's go have a look. Let's look into it. So we did. We found a very nice, small first business building, and I told him to go for it. And I told him, obviously, I'll help you. I'll help you as much as I can, because I was still in care. He was out of work at the minute. I was still working night shifts. But you were still working.
Mm-hmm.
We made it work. We had a little girl.
What was the first years? Because like businesses in the first year, 90% of businesses in the UK fail. And then you've got a team, you two are the team.
Yeah.
Why did it work compared to other businesses? Because often even successful people who put flood loads of money into a business doesn't always come out working really well. What was it about you two in the early days, or what was it about you, Marlon, in the early days that just got it right for the community that you were serving?
Okay, so first of all, like I said to myself, 90% of the business failed within the first year. So regardless of that, we're making it through 1 year. So we don't care what it's going to cost. For the first year, we're gonna go through it. And for the second year, they said with 5% of the next fail within the second year. I said, okay, we're going to make it through these 2 years. And once we make it through these 2 years, we're going to evolve. We're going to evolve and see and adjust to the circumstances. And all and behold, that's what we've been doing every year since, looking for the opportunities and finding ways of growing the business.
So what is your name? Because I haven't asked you your name of your business.
So our business name is Island Lounge. So we started
Island
out.
Lounge. And who named it?
So the
island part was me.
Mm-hmm.
The lounge part was you.
So we went through, like, we spent like a whole few days. So before it was Island Cafe and Takeaway Limited, because it was a cafe that we took over, and we thought, you know what, let's use the cafe as a way of expanding. But personally, like, the idea of it just being a cafe didn't sit well with me. So after the first year, I changed the name to Island Lounge because I wanted it to be something bigger, something that can be more than just a place to grab something to eat.
Ooh. My question to you both is then, what got in the way initially? So it feels like once you made up your mind, it feels like once you identified a place, it feels like it was quite straightforward in some ways. But I know that these stories are never that straightforward. So what were the barriers that you faced earlier on in business? You kind of recognize that, year 1 and 2 is going to be difficult.
Yeah. So with my business studies, that was where I figured out, like, so funding is a major issue. I think a lot of people that go into business did not go in knowing that, okay, you need funding to make it through. Your income is non-existent within the first year. So you need to find a way how you're going to get that funding. If you're not going to get a loan without a business plan from a bank or investors, then you have to fund that through your own personal finances. So I think paying the bills, being on top of them, and making sure that you can manage those. So the barrier of entry in terms of, for example, if you get taken over a new lease from somebody else, usually you have to pay for that lease. And so that can be very costly. That can be from anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000, 40,000 pounds just to get like a property from like a goodwill. And that's not buying the property, that's buying the goodwill of the place. So that was a barrier of entry. So the majority of these businesses, not from, if you know, small businesses in this country, a lot of them are Asian owned, and majority of them, they normally sell within their community. And then again, on what you're paying for, it's not really worth what you're really paying for. So you're paying the cost, but there's a premium to do business, if that makes sense. So so for example, because we paid about 9,000 in total, but then the things in there wasn't worth 1,000. You know what I mean? So you paid the premium to be there, and you was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
And then you have to develop it.
Yeah.
My question to you is probably about, for you, knowing that you could see that your partner, your man, is not happy with the kind of where he wants the family to be, but also you're ambitious and have aspirations, but not many women back their partner in a way that you did. What was it that you saw, and why did you know that it could work from your point of view?
Like I said, it was just known him for 13 years. He is a very, what I'm looking for. He's very, he goes for what he wants, and he generally gets it because he doesn't stop. So, seeing that fight in him and knowing that he wanted this so badly, I know that it would work out for him. But then I also knew that for him to succeed in getting where he wanted, he also needed some form of help. And that was what I was willing to be the person who helped him do that.
Did you gradually get more involved in the business? Did you think help was just supporting initially in other ways, or did you kind of know that you both would be a partner in the business?
I think we kind of both knew that we was going to be a partner in the business. Reason being, like I said, I was still in care working nights, and I was kind of wanting to come out that. So yeah, my plan was to just fully focus with the building up the restaurant. What
did you underestimate in terms of working, because people in restaurants, they work long hours. Did you underestimate the time you needed to be involved?
I did.
Did you?
I did. It's long.
In what way?
But we had a good support system around us in regards to family. So that kind of helped contribute towards it in regards to getting support with the kids. And not even just the kids, like sometimes like, having to staffing at the restaurant. So, our parents both work there sometimes to help us out. So we have a good support from our family. So that helped.
Yeah. So when we started, my mom was sick, so she wasn't able to help us straight away. Your mom was in Jamaica, so like as soon as they were better and they was available, they came over and they started just fitting in and supporting us wherever they can. So that the workload gradually got a bit less. You know what I mean? So that was really a good part of like starting a family business, so to speak. Because obviously I've got my family, I know what they're capable of, and then she has her family and what they're capable of. And they brought that to the table.
Oh, can I just ask then? So did you take your parents' favourite secret dishes to the restaurant? Or did you develop your own?
Well, we kind of not. In some ways maybe, but probably wouldn't say our parents. Probably like our uncles or aunties or our grandparents. It's like everyone, because it's like some. Even though we're both from Jamaica, different parishes have slightly different ways that they cook. So we kind of put all that we knew and kind of like figured, okay, this one worked best, or this one worked best. So yeah, we kind of but like I said, he's a man with flavors. Like he knows the taste that he's looking for. So I always just make him make the last decision on those.
So usually it would be when it comes to I just knew the flavors that I was tasting over here is different compared to what I was used to when I was growing up. They're like,
okay, so tell me why it's different. So what do you call it? I'm from a different part of the Caribbean, so our flavors profiles are slightly different but the same. So from a Jamaican context, what was it that you were tasting that you thought, I can definitely do better?
I feel like a lot of the food just didn't have that, a finishing flavor. So what's that then? It's cooked, but there's no finesse in terms of the flavor. It's just there. You know, when you it's, for example, when you buy something from, say, for KFC or McDonald's, it's not offensive, but it's not, oh my God, it's nice. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing that I could taste in the food. And it's like enhanced in a certain part of spice, because some meals are supposed to be a bit spicy and a little bit, you enhance the flavor of the meat. You know what I mean? Stuff like that was bothering me, so to speak. So it's like, there's season.
So in terms of like understanding flavor profiles, you are also quite analytical, and you kind of notice that actually there's something that's missing. So yeah, there are restaurants out there that do Caribbean food, but Island Lounge, I want it to kind of taste in a very particular way.
Yes.
So that it gives you the kind of organic or original kind of flavors.
Yeah, you got it. So it's that thing of that warm, hearty home feel. Like, you know, when there's something about well, I don't know if it's the same for you, but you know, when you're growing up and you can remember Sunday morning when your grandmother is cooking, you smell the food before you taste the food. That kind of heartiness, and you know that, okay, you know what the fried chicken is going to be like, because you can smell it throughout the house. You know what I mean? And even your mom make porridge or something, you know that, oh yeah, it's cinnamon there. You can, you know what I mean? The spices and the herbs are there, and stuff like that was kind of like missing to me. It's like, okay, they put everything together, but is it in the right quantity? Is it in the right?
So I'm going to ask you, Dana, do you know when you were thinking of your cooking. Marlon's got all the flavors. You're thinking about your kind of, your family recipes. Did you argue with him? Did you say, no, I don't like this? This one is better.
Of course.
You had the last say, really.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
Listen, like, as much as we have been doing it for 7 years, there has been arguments, there's been crying, there's been stress, it's all been there. But at the end of the day, we both know what we wanted. And we both know that the outcome that we wanted to achieve, because this is just not for us right here. It's for our kids. It's for, it's for
the community.
So the community, because like I said, one of the things as well barriers that we got when we first started was actually feeling like, let's say, wanted in the community that we were, like where our restaurant is that we had to push and invest so much money to get people to come to us or try us, because like a Caribbean restaurant where we are was not very popular. So people were a bit iffy. Okay, should I try them? So it took years to
build up that
customer base.
And how did you do that? Because I think you're right there, aren't you? Because I know that if like in terms of preference, and I thought Caribbean, I'd be like, well, I could do Sunday dinner, so I don't know why I'm going down the road. But I do know when I have really good Caribbean food, I don't want to do Sunday dinner because I want to go down to your road to pick it up.
And that's the thing. Like, that's why when we come back to Marlon's final touches and his flavoring and wanting that special way for it to taste, is that you're gonna come and you're gonna eat your food, but you're not gonna eat it like you're eating a takeaway. You're eating it like you cooked it. Like you're at home in front of your television or rolling down a new table, having your Sunday dinner that it's been home cooked. You haven't bought it at a restaurant. So that's the feeling that we want you to have when you come. You're not coming and thinking I'm having a takeaway, or I'm having a restaurant meal. I'm having a meal that was cooked in a pot
with love.
In love. That's one of our specialty. Our food is cooked with love at all times. That's what we want. So when you taste our food.
Not being disrespectful to all the restaurants out there, but we're not necessarily known for our customer service. And you've got this beautiful food, but I don't want to talk to you because you might be rude to me. And you might not be rude. And I don't know what it is, because I feel like I've gone through loads. And I think, what the hell? What's going on here?
So that's one of the things. So that was new to me.
Really?
Yeah. So where I grew up in Jamaica is Mandeville. So it's a slightly middle working class kind of community. And when we grew up, I grew up knowing good customer service. You know what I mean? I grew up knowing, like, okay, our food, sit down, nice, eat, no rush, take it easy, but enjoy your food. You know what I mean? So from that aspect, coming here, getting rude, rush, and it wasn't very pleasant for me at 18, because I'm coming into myself as a young man and I'm thinking to myself, really, so why bother paying for that if you're getting subpar food and subpar customer service? And that me not have that attitude was, for me, wrong in terms of what we want to be, because as a community, like, we should demand better and we should give better. You know what I mean? So I think for me, I wanted to make that transition, to make sure that, okay, you know what, if rather than be a part of the problem, be the solution. And I think, when I did my research and I started interacting with people from, say, Africa, in the different parts of the Caribbean, the more I realized that literally they're the same people, we have different little differences that makes us segregate ourselves. But if we find a ways of communicating with each other in a manner that we all can understand, communicate in a language that suits each other. As I always said, Island Lounge rather than Jamaica Lounge, you know what I mean? Because we wanted to feel somewhere where, so people, like the Caribbean islands together as a so combined have like 30 million people.
Mm.
Individually, it's like, you know what I mean? You know, it's like, what, St. Kitts got what?
And
100.
there's a richness, isn't there? Because you know, I've been to Jamaica a number of times, and I love food. I love going around. I go to the vendors on the road. Is it Maypen? Love Maypen. Yeah. You know, I used to have locks, and I would eat pork because, you know, it's kind of the best, you know, jerk pork in the world. And it was really, and I agree with you, I think it was really lovely to kind of experience those kind of food experience. How did you cross over? Have you crossed over so that not only the community buys you, but also the wider community buys from you? I'm going to say to them,
that's one of my things as well, where I said to myself, like, we're in a country where we're like 2 or 3% of the population. So why should we only market to the 3%? It's a niche, however, but we need to ensure that our products are able to be purchased by everybody within the community. So if we're making, with Island Lounge, we're giving a taste of the Caribbean, right? So those people who can't afford to go on holiday, they come to Island Lounge and they get a taste of what to come if they get to go to the Caribbean. You know what I mean? So we market that product in that way. So we adjust to the environment. We know that lots of people don't like the bones so that put them off. They don't like it too spicy. So we explain to them, okay, this dish is for bones. So I used to do extra work just to satisfy them, because we used to do the underbone for the regular Caribbean person that wants it underbone. We do the boneless option for people who don't want it underbone, and it was working really well in terms of our deliveries, because at one point we were like the top 10 within the West Midlands in the amount of deliveries done, especially during the pandemic. And that was our way of going where the customer is. For example, the Just Eat, the Uber Eats and so forth, and giving them offers to try to entice them in. And when they come in, we had a stat that said 44% of our customers ordered within 2 weeks of ordering the first time.
Wow.
So
I think what it was the fact that like everything, a majority of things that we do on the bone, we give the option of having it off the bone. So if you want jerk chicken, on the bone or off the bone. Curry goat, on the bone, off the bone. Fish, on the bone, off the bone. So
it's really kind of catering, broadening out that actually some people get put off by kind of bones and all the things that we might accept growing up in the Caribbean or from traditional aspects of Caribbean cuisine. Damia, I'm going to ask you about COVID lockdown and your business, 7 years, the fact that you survived, so many haven't. What do you put it down to, and how did you guys cope and pivot so that your business can grow?
I'll put on to just knowing what we wanted and going for it and just supporting each other. COVID was very stressful. Reason being, for two reasons really. Like obviously the kids were off, so it was like, okay, the kids are off, but we have to go to work. Kids are off from school, but then it all comes in again to our support system that we had from our parents, and that was helping us out a lot. COVID was a busy period for us. That really busy. Everyone, I think that was one of our busiest year.
Really?
Yeah, really. Still down to this day, one of our busiest.
Oh.
But is it because everyone was at home? Can you afford everyone was at home?
Everyone was at home. They're at home, but they didn't want to cook.
They didn't want to cook.
They didn't want to cook. So, like, obviously, people couldn't come in, so our deliveries was just bouncing off the walls. It was stressful, but we got through it. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think we just kind of balance each other out in some ways.
Again, I always focus on strategy. What is the strategy that we're going to take forward to this? And I think for me, it's about we need to survive. How are we going to survive? what's gonna make what. So you have to take a look at the market and try and figure out where is the next big move. If people can't come to you, how are you going to get to them? And that's when we had the system where we had good drivers, delivery drivers initially to help us to grow the business. And then we had a system that literally could cater to 100 people if we needed to, in terms of how we prep our food, how we cook our food and so forth. And I think that helped us, because looking at what other people were doing with the more established business, how are they doing it? How are they adapted to the circumstances to make the situation better and take advantage of it? And that's what we did. And because even after COVID, we were doing near enough 7,000-8,000, not 10,000 pounds a week and deliveries. And then after COVID, we started doing 3.
Yeah.
Well, then we lost.
Well, how do you manage the ebbs and flows of that? Because you have, on one hand, you've got this big demand, opportunity, and then you've got to figure out a way to grow quickly to kind of cater for that. And then you kind of fall off the cliff. And then you've got to kind of pivot in a way to kind of get going. And you talk about kind of managing stress. How did you manage that stress load? Because most people would crush under that, wouldn't prepare for a rainy day and might crush underneath that.
Yeah. Let's do. Well, then I was really good at that. She just leave the stress to me, and she just gets over it.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Just thinking when I focus on home. When it gets to that point, I leave the stress at the restaurant for him, and then I leave the stress at home. So
she takes the stress out.
He has one stress, I have one stress. So it doesn't build up too much. But like at the end of the day, when we're at work, it's a lot. It's hard work. It's long hours. But at the end of the day, we're coming home together. So we have to remember that, okay, it's not just at the restaurant. It's also our home life. And as much as I was going to say we kind of separate the two, we don't really, because we're going to be having a conversation about what I'm going to buy for the kids. What am I going to have for make for the kids' dinner to start talking about the restaurant and back and forth. So we kind of don't really separate the two as much, but we do, when we need to be, we take time out from the restaurant, stop thinking about the restaurant and just focus on our family.
It helps, it does help. Because you give your brain a rest from the ins and out of like what is currently the problem, so you can actually figure it out.
Yeah. When was the last time you two went on a date or went on holiday together so that you could leave the restaurant? Or can you leave the restaurant now? Are you in a position where you can take quality time for you both?
Unfortunately, it was like last time I went to the holiday was last year summer. We went to the holiday together. That's me and him too. Over the past 2 years, we have lost family members that were very helpful towards us in regards to, helping us manage the kids and the restaurant. So yeah, we've lost them. So it kind of
going back down.
Yeah, it's kind of going. We kind of having less time now because those people that used to be here to help us are no longer here. So we're kind of trying at the minute now to kind of restructure again. Yeah, to restructure, to find different ways where we can have those times together.
I'm listening to you both, and it sounds like the importance of family. And you've got a lot of love around you, and the people who helped you grow. And maybe you wouldn't be as big as you are today had it not been for their presence.
Yeah,
definitely
not.
So we definitely have another chance to have a date in a long time. You know what I mean? We try to majority of what we do now with our free time. So recently her mom passed away this year. And my aunt passed away 2 years ago. So when my aunt passed away, we closed on a Monday to say, you know what, we need to literally start making time for the children and for us as a family.
Because we used to open 7 days a week, so work 7 days again. So when his aunt passed away, we started to take a day rest on Monday. And then this year when my mom passed away, we decided to take a break on Tuesdays now. So
we're hoping that we don't have any more significant deaths. We can put on Wednesday too.
But do you know what? I think that's something, given that both of you come from mental health background as well, I think that's really been really insightful that actually you've learned that life's too short and that you need to kind of prioritize family or you in a particular way. And business will work around you, whatever your model is.
I think one of the things that people have to realize are, even with me, sometimes it's all about knowing when. Because when there's a time when you have to do it all the time, and there's a time when you shouldn't have to do it all the time. And if you're always doing it all the time, then you're gonna burn. Because you can go 7 days a week for how long until your body says no. You know what I mean? And sometimes you need to do that, but do you need to do it all the time?
And also that is why you need to know that you have to have like what we've learned to do as well is give ourselves each other space, like personal space, like this time to ourselves. It's not like a whole day, but it's just like probably an hour out of the day or so, where he just does what he wants to do and I do what I want to do, and we probably won't talk for a whole hour, but then we'll join back up and start having a conversation. I was thinking about this the whole time I was gone for a whole hour. So we have, even that. Sometimes you have to. I like going to the gym and stuff like that. So we started to make time within our days to give me time to do things that I want to do that make me feel like a person. And same for him. So he finds what he wants to do. Like he likes to go out and look at buildings and stuff like that. So, it's not just time from the business, but it's also time from each other and time from the kids.
It sounds like a self-care, doesn't it? That actually
self-care is very, very, very. I think I genuinely did underestimate like self-care, because when you think about us, we literally spend like almost 24 hours together, like all the time. And for most people, for me, it's all right because I love her. You know what I mean? She's up over my eyes. So I can't not see her.
No, but and honestly, we do get tired of seeing each other sometimes.
Oh, do you know what? I'm listening to you both and I'm thinking, wow, I work as a couple. I work as a couple therapist, and a lot of the time my couples really struggle to be together. The fact that you both can be together, but also recognize that you need time apart for you to do the things that you're interested in, for you. Go to the gym or to go to look at buildings. I think it's really important that you've worked it out, because lots of relationships wouldn't survive under the pressure you probably face being in business.
That's true. I think it is. You have to first like each other as well, isn't it? That's where friendship is important. Friendship with people and trust. I think you have to trust each other to make the decision that they're supposed to make, and for what is best for the current situation and the longer situation. If you're looking only short term, then you're not really doing yourself justice. Because if you look at what today's gratification, because there's been times where I love her many times I'm like, I just about like you. You know what I mean?
And it's that thing about respecting each other as well, and just knowing each other's boundaries when you're working together. Like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of know each other's pace and stuff like that. So it's just flows.
What's your vision for each other in terms of personally and the business? Because sometimes couples struggle to have you're committed, you trust, you know when to kind of problem solve, I suppose, as well. So what is your kind of ambitions for yourself or for the business?
For me personally, my ambition now is to get out of the day-to-day operations of the business. Literally.
I think that's more than us.
Like, yeah, but I think for me, I don't want you to come out before me. So I'm trying hard now to figure out systems to try and get her out of the day-to-day operation. But she's stubborn, so.
Man,
She gets jealous if I'm at work too long.
I think it's something, you know what? Like when we're not doing our like roads and stuff like that. If I'm having a day off, it's like I don't feel it's not a nice day off unless he's off with me.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, so it's like yeah, if I'm having a day off, I have to have a day off together. So like okay, who's working today? Because I'm off, so you're gonna have to be off.
Yeah.
So as much as it's to be like, oh, we see each other every day. Why do you want to have a day off together? Like, I don't know. It's just he's my best friend. He's my companion. He's my husband. He's everything. So yeah.
Do you know what? It is a blessing to hear you both say this because lots of relationships don't survive. So how do you make it work? Because 50% of marriages in the UK end in divorce. If you're living together, it goes up to something like 70%. You are 13 years in and you work together. So what is the nuggets? If you're telling people out there how to be together, you know, in terms of a couple, in terms of a married couple, how can you teach us? Because a lot of people are failing.
You know, well, fail together. It's a commitment in it. So if you're failing, okay, if we're failing, look at the situation and why we're failing. Because if you committed to that person and the person committed to you, it's not about, okay, let's run away. If we're going on a journey and one person decided they want to stop, well, you might have to stop with the person and figure out how we're going to get back on this journey. And sometimes it's not as easy as, oh yeah, it's just a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. Sometimes it's as deep as, I don't really like you right now. And so you need to find a way, okay, why don't I like you right now and before I liked you? But if you've made that commitment together, you've got kids together, you've got responsibilities together, and it's about the vision that you see for each other. How can we make that better for both of us? Not just you know, us as a team, and still grow yourself as an individual. Because if you're in a relationship and the person is growing and you're not growing, then you have to take a look at yourself and see how can I grow and make a situation better. Because if you're not growing together, what are you doing? Or if you're being selfish towards each other, it's not, that's selfless.
Did you both grow up in a family where you saw this, the way that you two are with each other? Or was it because of the family background that you kind of decided, no, I definitely want this for myself?
Even though my mom and dad were married for majority of my 34 years, they kind of lived apart because my mom was working in America. And he was at home in Jamaica looking after me and my three sisters. So I really didn't see them much together. I really never thought of it before, but I don't know. When I met Marlon, I just know that I wanted that life. I wanted that life where we had a house, we had kids, you know, the white picket fence, all of that. I knew that's what I wanted. And then I knew he was the right one. I knew that he would be a very good support system, which he has been throughout the whole thing, throughout our whole 13 years together, you know, even before we got married. It wasn't something that I saw, but when I met him and we started to grow, I knew it's what I wanted.
I think for me, it's about the I think it's something called Black consciousness. You know what I mean? And I think it's about connecting with people on a deeper level for me was important. But then if you want to raise kids, to me, I didn't grow up with my dad. My mom left Jamaica when I was young, and so to me, I wanted that connection. I've seen it elsewhere, and I've observed it, and I feel like it is probably the best environment for raising children. That, you know, I mean, it avoids trauma, it avoids a lot of things, and I think it resolves a lot of issues if you just. And sometimes it's just knowing that you want to be an example.
And there's a perception, isn't there, sometimes where people might perceive Caribbean family life as not being quite traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the legacy of slavery or just the storytelling, the privileges of storytelling by other people. And yet when families, some of the beautiful families that I've met have been together, and they've been together for a long time, and their parents have been together. But most of all, it sounds like you both knew what you want from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only I fancy you, but it's also, can we work together as a partnership, as a team?
Mm-hmm. And so that consciousness of knowing, okay, can we do it together, and not just, oh yeah, you know, you're good looking, I'm good looking, let's see, you know, what happens. But okay, what can we do that will benefit us, our kids, our community, or, you know, just be better. Like sometimes a lot of negativity comes from within the community, from other people saying, oh yeah, majority of Black people don't stay together. That hurts me. You know what I mean? Because I want to be like, because I've seen lots of Black people being together. So like when people are saying, oh yeah, this is not the case, you go somewhere. No, but when you grow up in the Caribbean, majority of the people that are together are Black. And the people that are successful and in a committed and working relationship are Black. So you're hearing it from another point of view, you see it, you're like, that's not what we want, you know? And then you see the effects of families that are not together, kids that grow up in broken home or whatsoever. Make you want to be better. Well, it makes me want to be better. You know what I mean?
How does a business like yours, be relevant in the community? Because you've got beautiful values from home and you're taking your business out into the community. What does that represent, being Black business owners in the community that you serve? How can you show young people that actually it is good to be business owners, and possibly, you know, if you're a person of color, you know, it's good to actually have these opportunities like our Southern Asian families. Not everyone is, but, you know, the majority have lots of businesses.
Yeah, I think for the community, I think we have to look and see, okay, if you want success, then you have to do the work for it. It's not easy. Nothing in life is easy or free. So if you want to put in the work and the effort to gain something, or if you want something, then you have to be willing to put in the work and the effort to get it. And I think as much as our South Asian people they've been committed to doing things a particular way, and the long-term effect is that we can see that there is streets where we know that it's literally Asian owned. And that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine, because they put in the work for that. And it's like, okay, if they showed us that it can be done, why can't we do it too? You know what I mean?
What stops? You're right. If you go to Jamaica, and all parts of Jamaica, it would be Black owned. If you go to the Caribbean, St. Vincent, St. Kitts, Barbados, they're Black owned businesses. But you rarely see many Black owned businesses that are successfully thriving in a way that probably should be in comparison to the stay that you've been here.
Yeah, I think. Why is it not the same thing?
Yeah, why is it not the same? Do you think? Or what are the challenges for Black businesses? Do you think?
Acceptance.
So the barrier of entry is a big one. You know what I mean? And like ignorance, not lack of, in the sense of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
That not knowing the information, not knowing the right questions to ask to get the right answers, so to speak. So if you're asking the right questions of how to get certain things, then you can get it. And how to adjust to the business environment. You know what I mean? Maslow's principles of business, where you look what has happened before, look at what's coming, and look at the current state of where things are, and adjusting to that. Knowing your product, learning about your product, and stuff like that. So like, if those are the things that you need in order to have a successful business. So like, if people are not willing to educate and evolve, then they won't have a successful business, because the business environment is always changing. And I think that, and the commitment to it as well. It takes long.
Yeah.
It takes long. And I think that's where the patience.
You have to be patient,
and
but it doesn't take,
and
it doesn't take a year, it doesn't take 2 years. It's 7 years for us, and we're still learning. Because when I went to this business with Marlon, I knew nothing about business. Obviously, he has a business degree, so he knew some of what he was doing, but I'm presuming he's still learning too.
Absolutely.
We're still learning, and we're still trying to figure out how to grow and how to become the next Nando's, TGI's.
Yeah,
that's what we want to be.
The thing is that having something to look at and be like, okay, can we be that? And not just setting the bar too low, where you're like, okay, because for me, we would have been semi-okay doing just deliveries and takeaways and stuff like that. But that wasn't the end goal for me, because I feel like that can't be replicated very well. You know what I mean? So to me, and the margins in it were thin, and if it's more, the pricing structure of that kind of business is different. Yeah. So you just understand, trying to figure out how best to grow, what is needed for a business, for a business to grow, so to speak. So that if you have a certain kind of, this is the knowledge, this is literally the knowledge, or and funding.
Yeah.
Are the major.
Funding, because we were just, like I said, we're very big on takeaway. That we were top 10 in the West Midlands in regards to takeaway. But like, our vision, it wasn't just to be pop in, get your food, go away. We wanted people to come in, sit down, and we weren't getting that. So our next move was to refurbish. So we refurbished the restaurant, and it's like you walk in and you're on the beach. You're in the Caribbean, the sun is shining, the reggae music is playing in the background. You can, you have your cocktail in your hand, you're sitting down, you're seeing bamboo, you're seeing zinc, you're seeing flowers. What else do we have in there? We have everything that you could see in the Caribbean. We got the tiki bar, we got, we got all of that.
It's offering to put offering more.
Yeah,
it sounds like very much like a destination that not only thinking about, we want to kind of create a space where people can come to. I'm mindful of time, and I know that you're really busy people, and I could talk to you all day long. I really appreciate the wisdom that you've given us today, not as much as in terms of business, but as you two as a couple, as a team, as a partnership, because it's shown us that actually we can work together, be a team. There's something beautiful about the family and around you, and the learning that you've done in terms of thinking about, when people have passed that you've loved, you've taken a day off and you take another day off. But in some ways, I think it enhances the opportunity for other people to see more of you on the days that you have and the energy you have. I really appreciate your time and commitment today. So thank you very much.
And thank you as well for giving us the opportunity to share our story with you.
Yes, and where can we find you before we go? Where are you?
So we're in Wednesbury, that's in the outskirts of Birmingham, in the middle of Walsall and Wolverhampton. So it's 28 Lower High Street, Wednesbury, WS10 7AQ. And
Island Lounge.
You can look for Island Lounge on Instagram, Island Lounge Wednesbury. and Island Lounge on Facebook. And yeah, you can see all the beautiful bright colors of the Caribbean, even if you want to be homesick or holiday sick.
I just want to know if you FedEx food up to Manchester.
We've got a funny story about Manchester.
We got a funny story about Manchester.
There's actually so somebody opened up an Island Lounge in Manchester, and for some reason we had some customers going to a wedding down here from Manchester, coming down this side to go to a wedding, stop on their way to the wedding to buy some food, and end up buying food for the people at the wedding. And after the wedding, they drove back up to go to Manchester and bought more food to bring back up to Manchester. And, so yeah,
you've got a good following. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you. Nice speaking to you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.